With the championship already decided, the final week of racing the Lotus 79 is here. It was another season of domination by the Finnish drivers, claiming all of the top 4 spots in the championship. But today is a track that is relatively new to the service, and with the championship regulars possibly booking an early vacation ticket, will we see the dawn of a new light at the end of this race? Let's find out as we get ready to watch round 12 of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series. You'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joey Atterbury, and joining me in the booth today is Craig King. Behind the scenes is our director, Ryan Bauer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. For those of you unaware of this track in Spain called Motorland Aragon, let's get a closer look at it with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Motorland Aragon. About an hour and a half west of the Mediterranean coast, this scenic but dusty course is a more recent addition to the Spanish motorsports landscape. Built to replace a dangerous street circuit in the nearby town, it's become a hub of modern racing for the country. Motorcycles are its most famous draw, but it does see sports cars and lower-level open-wheelers visit frequently. Plus, its warm climate makes it ideal for winter testing. Its 7 layouts range between 1.5 to just over 3 miles with 12 to 18 turns. Its most iconic feature is no doubt the towering wall between turns 7 and 13 that accentuate the dramatic elevation changes. However, the difficult Sacacorchos chicane easily has the greatest drop over the shortest period. Reminiscent of Laguna Seca's corkscrew, this right-left flick leads onto a pretty long acceleration zone, even in the GP layout, so it'll be important to get that exit right. Expect most passes into turn 1 are down at the hairpin of 16. But for those who haven't gotten enough of high-speed sweepers, the motorcycle and outer layouts include one final blast uphill and into a tricky late apex. Technical and picturesque, Aragon offers up a little bit of everything and is a versatile facility. It's easy to see why it was quickly embraced by both Spanish fans and race fans worldwide.
Well, it is relatively new to iRacing. It's got a couple of different configurations, and last time the 79s raced here, Craig, we didn't have that silly chicane in the back straightaway.
Oh, come on, it's a nice chicane, Joey. Well, of course, this track is known mostly for the FIM events, but Aragon has been used as a test ground for the prototype for Le Mans. And, of course, that chicane's not there for that, by the way, just to put that in. So this 18-turn, 3.5-mile track will provide these cars a great challenge today. Start the track is full of slow corners and elevation changes, which will make the drivers rely on the downforce as much as they can while avoiding those anti-cut curves, which could send them off the track. From there, it's a downhill run down Marc Marquez. It's a sweeping downhill left. It will test the driver's bravery and throttle control. They should be able to keep that car flat out as possible there. Now, that bus stop, as I call it, you know, it may feel like a flatter version of the Le Mans chicane at Daytona Road. There's a lot more space there today, so that's good, but it doesn't encourage side-by-side there. Instead, you've got turn 16. It's a hairpin. It's a prime spot for overtakes, but as it narrows in, it brings them to a very quick 17 and 18 to end the lap. So you make a mistake at the hairpin, and you'll be fighting to keep that position as you get to that finish line. Now, Joey, this is a track that feels at home for historic cars like this. To me, it's the perfect way to end the season.
It should be pretty good, especially with the more medium to higher levels of downforce that I expect we are going to see. But it is the final week of the season. We've already wrapped up our championship. Let's take a look at how everything ended up over here in the F1 point standings. It was ultimately Pauli Partanen that was your champion. Topi Korchinjaimi is second place. Jukka Tolinen third. Juho Raina in fourth. I mentioned all of the top 4 Finnish drivers, and they are locked into those positions. Nobody can go and catch them. Gernot Friesche, a valiant effort there in the 5th place. And a couple notables. Dylan Freckleton continues to work his way up in terms of this F1 driver's standings. He was part of the F2 driver's standings not too long ago. Jason Clapper, tremendous effort all season long. He always starts at the back and has to earn those points the hard way. Phil Reed, the controller king, Barry West, and Paul Williams with a couple great races. But also, Craig, you've got the F2 championship, which is still to be settled, I believe.
This is a very chaotic thing. This feels like old school F2, F1. Look how many people are in contention for this battle today. Kozinecki, Sibernagel, Ahmed, Ackerman, Riemann, they're all in with a shot there. Shady Ahmed, by the way, yesterday sealed up the Camel GTPL championship, similar to the F2 here for the 79s. Can he go 2 for 2? It's going to be a hard ask, even though he's that close. The rest of the drivers, though, they're all looking for a little bit of bragging rights. Morland, Thomas, Herner, Porter, and Roper, they all want to see, can they get that best of the rest with quotation marks? But there's no real best of the rest here because everybody is just as good as one another with how close it is.
Yeah, it's the strength of field race here, but round 12 of 12, 23 laps is what all of the drivers are going to have to do today, unless you got problems out there. Open setup, so go join the community, join the Discord, join the forums. They always love getting everybody up to speed, so that way great racing can happen. There's no spare car. I mentioned if you have any trouble, you're going to have to deal with it out there on the racetrack, either with damage or coming down pit road and getting it fixed. A drive-through penalty at 17x and a disqualification at 25 incidents. And there's plenty of runoff room here at this racetrack, so you can start to accrue those different incident points. But as with these open wheelers, you always want to stay out of each other's car, because if you have any side-to-side contact, front-to-back contact, it doesn't matter. If there's any sort of contact, you are most likely picking up some severe damage on these vehicles. As we are watching now qualifying come to an end. This is Kurt Clapper out here. I see Topi Kortanyami on provisional pole right now. Another great effort from one of those top 4 Finnish drivers. I was curious though, are we going to see somebody other than one of the Finns take home the checkered flag today?
Let's possibly say no. It's just the dominance that these Finns have nowadays. On board with Kurt Clapper, here is that chicane section. I said it was like a bus stop for Le Mans. It is pretty flat, but look how much it opens up the track. And then they go down into Kurt Clapper there, making the moves. This is turn 15 and onto the straight. Makes a mistake and goes wide. Joey, you bring up the idea of these cars now. You know, you don't want to get into an accident. Today has been announced, next season, these cars are getting the new damage model. So the side-by-side racing is going to get a little bit tougher, but that doesn't discourage side-to-side racing. It just means that you cannot take the risks that you're going to do. So this is the last race we're going to see on the old damage model.
It'll be pretty interesting to see what that new model actually does present. And the way that I look at it is, well, everybody has to deal with it. So everybody's in the same boat. You got to pick up an oar and you got to start rowing and just start to understand what you can and can't do, just like how this model is. And look at this, qualifying already wrapped up, and we have our starting grid. Topi Kortanyami will be your pole sitter, a 144.800, smashing everybody else by nearly 9/10 of a second. Alex Ott will share the front row with them in second place. Dylan Freckleton in third. Peter Konechny in fourth. Gernot Friesche lined up fifth. Sam Ryman in sixth. Bjorn Ackerman in seventh. Shady Ahmad eighth. Barry West in ninth. And Thomas Silbernagel in 10th.
And then we get to the second row, and the second page, Ian Haycox will be 11th, with Robert Simpkins will take 12th. Cam Porter will be 13th, and Keith Herbert 14th. Brian Long 15th, and Ben Summers will be 16th, and then Michael Taylor will take 17th. Beside him, Arnold Koch. Kurt Hale-Hedson will be 19th, and Timothy Reed will be 20th. They're all the timed qualifiers.
Then in 21st, we have Jason Clapper, followed up by Kurt Clapper, Christo Shinmai in 23rd, Lance Simon in 24th, Daniel Bonowitz in 25th, and Francisco Javier Lopez is going to round out the 26 Lotus 79 cars taking the track today. And it is a beautiful day, Craig, albeit just a touch warm and a little bit windy.
A little bit windy, but that's a fantastic temperature for out here in the Algarve in Spain, to be fair. Who is going to take this? All 5 of the F2 Championship contenders are in this race today.
That means all of those points are on the line, just the single split here for the strength of field race. The final week of the Lotus 79 season is here. We've been talking about it all 12 weeks. It has been Finnish drivers, and they finished 1, 2, 3, 4. But everybody on the grid showing their shiny faces, looking beautiful, waiting for Barney to bring up those lights. And it looks like we do have the RPMs up. The lights are on. We've got a green flag here at Motorland Aragon for the final week of the season. Topi Kortuniemi gets an excellent start from the pole position. It was Alex Ott that really fell back here going into turn 1. Dylan Freckleton is now up into the second place. Peter Konechny takes care of third. It is Alex Ott that falls all the way back to fourth. A little bit of side-by-side as we stream to 2, 3, and now turns 4 as we come up the hill.
Yep, now coming down the hill a little bit as well. You can see a great start that Konechny had there at the start of the race. Henson in the backfield's made up 5 places as well. That's the early movers as well. We've got one spinner already gone about. There is going to be a lot of cars making an avoidance for it, though. And I believe that is one of the... that is Robert Simpkins, who has made that mistake early in the start of the lap. Not when you want to go either. He is so far behind the pack now.
Yeah, I see that 6 seconds behind this pack, but I think the big exclamation, oh, we got more problems. I believe that was Barry West coming around through Mark Marquez corner that very, very first time here as the cars, the leaders, enter what is this bus stop chicane here. We're going to take a look at all of these replays once the first lap comes to an end. And Craig, I'm already seeing a lot of these drivers, those front tires, look at how little itty-bitty they are. They take some time to get up to temperature.
They take more time to get up to temperature than a modern-day prototype. You can start to see Timothy looking for the move there. He gets it in side by side. There's going to be no side by side. You can see the mistake that was made there at the start of the lap there from Summers. He keeps on down. Now we're going to see who gets in. There's going to be some side by side near the front of the field. And Alex Ott just continues to go down the order. Can he get the run here? He cannot. And Gernot is going to hold that position. Alex is down 3 places this lap.
Just not the start that Alex Ott wanted at all. And tell you what, Gernot Frisha has that car trimmed out. He just drove straight around that number 3 car on the back straightaway. So I'm curious here on this second lap through the technical tidbits here. Are we going to see Alex Ott right back up on the bumper? And sure enough, here he is underneath the wing of Gernot Frisha. But Craig, there's not very many passing opportunities here in the first sector.
There's not many passing opportunities, and the reason Alex got up to there is that Gernot, he turned in too early. He was going to hit that anti-cut curve I was talking about. It's a very tiny little one on that corner there, and that's why he had to make an adjustment, had to get off the throttle a little bit, and that cost him. Alex right on the back of his wing now. Now he's going to have to hope he can get a real good run out of Marc Marquez, and he's not done it. That's a very scrappy entry onto turn 10 into 11.
And just through goes Alex Ott. We're going to take a look at some of these GSRC replays from the first lap. This is Robert Simpkins. Remember, he was the first spin. Oh, and it just looks like cold tires that actually sent him around, but then had contact after that.
Yeah, had the contact. They were trying to get around him. I believe one of the cars did get him, and then we've got Barry West. This is what happened. I believe he got a little bit of a touch as we come down the little section here. He may have just got a tap there in the rear. There you go. And I think it was just a bit of checking up in the corner, and the car's not realizing. Because remember, these are F1 cars, or the old style F1 cars. They don't have brake lights. You've got to just go on feeling.
Well, not only that, but through the slower corners, which I predict are going to be the majority of these incidents. Look, here goes Shady Ahmad once again, just looking like they're on ice through these slower corners. And let me explain that for anybody who is unfamiliar. And oh, look at that huge slide from Ben Summers. But looks like that car is officially broken. That is why it is going around in circles and doing some huge drifts. But getting back to my point, these cars, you said, they're F1 cars. They rely on the downforce. And even though they are older F1 cars, they still rely on the wings and the tunnels underneath them. Now, when you need the downforce, you have it at those high speeds. Through the slower corners, okay, it is just tiptoeing these cars around. You don't have that downforce making the grip.
No, and that is one of the important things here, is they have to rely on what they've got. And these cars also had to rely on that mechanical grip, even though they are around that era of that famous skirt on the side. There's Cam Porter going around at the moment. He's having a quiet race, but that's all he needs, trying to just hold on for those battles in the F2. And he is working the H pattern at the moment. You may not see it. No, there you go. Cam shows it. I don't think it's one of his wooden creations there today. I don't think he's got a wooden one, but there's the rest of his wooden stuff on the background. Love seeing that work. And you just start to see he's cool, he's calm, he's collected. Comes down into that bus stop, and he's just keeping his time. And compared to like what some of the car drivers have been doing with H patterns this weekend, Joey, there's not a lot of extreme movement. You don't want a lot of extreme movement on the steering wheel in these cars.
This is Lance Simon back in the 23rd spot. Just kind of cruising along back there and doing some laps, working his way around this racetrack, and apparently also in love with Coca-Cola. Craig, are you in love with the soft drink this much?
I am, but as I'm English, we have to have a balance, so I have to also say about the other product. But nope, give me some Coca-Cola in here, and give me some Thomas Siebernagel battling here against Daniel Ryman as he now looks to go through some of these corners into turn 3. No anti-cuts here, but just look how much you can run here. Remember, as it's a more modern-day scan for iRacing, it does have the 4-tire off-track system on a lot of these corners, so they can really go wide on some of these corners and push the limits. But with that dirty air, they've got to be a little bit careful, and I think I just saw a little bit of a twitch there in Thomas's cockpit.
Yeah, do have to be careful with the dirty air, and I think if you're going to have any dirty air, it'll be through that first sector, as we're going to get a replay here. This is the number 25 car, Daniel Bonowitz. This is coming down the back straightaway here after the chicane. Or I'm sorry, this is feeding into the first chicane. And for the most part, everything looked okay there. Maybe just having a couple little issues as he works his way around. Now, this is an incredibly tight battle. This is Kurt Jensen leading Arnold Koch, Michael Taylor, Barry West, Shady Ahmad. They are all involved in this. You kind of see them. They're a little bit spread out now, but Craig, the last couple laps, they've been stacked about 5 cars deep.
Yeah, they've been stacked, and if somebody goes for a move, then they have the issue that they may just start building everybody up here. Here is Christo just having a bit of a time. Look at that start, though. He started 23rd, and he is already up into 12th position, and he's trying to fight on. He's got ahead of he's got ahead of that pack there. I'll get my words in. So he doesn't have to worry about getting caught in that. And I reckon we could see a little bit of a cork in the champagne bottle with Kurt there, because those two at the front, they may hold up the rest of the field later on in that race.
Well, I think if we look just in front, we can see it right here, just on the horizon in front of Christo is Timothy Reed, Cam Porter, all chasing down Ian Haycox. Now, Ian Haycox does come over and race the Lotus 79s from time to time, but he's a little bit more familiar with the Camel series, so always love seeing Ian out here. He's usually one of the guys who logs into our driver cameras, and he's holding what is a very good 9th position right now, up 2 from where he started. But the pack that's forming behind him, I'm looking at the lap times. Ian's last lap time, he must have made a little mistake somewhere. A 151.5. The car behind him, a 150.
Yeah, and then also, let's look at the feet quickly. We'll look at that rest of the battle, because for those unaware, unfortunately last year he did have an accident. And he did lose one of his feet, unfortunately. And within a few months, he was back racing again. He has got a device on the steering wheel that allows him to do the throttle. And then he just uses that foot for braking and heel toe. Timothy Rees just missed the bus stop there. And he can't take the run up. There's a massive tyre barrier. Timothy's going to have to do an F1 slide here as we watch Ian Haycock. There he is. Well, you can probably just see behind the mound, Joey. There he is. It's like animal spotting.
Yeah, and he's just trying to rejoin right now. He did an excellent job waiting to do what he needed to do, and then was able to rejoin the racetrack. And look at this. Craig, that is blowing it so far. I think he got the layouts confused, and I don't blame him. You're just in race mode sometimes.
Well, unfortunately,
Yeah.
He just got himself disqualified.
Yep.
Because he had to get back. Yeah, he had to get back. And I'm not saying this is a flaw at the track, but, you know, some people don't understand that there's no run-up, that there's no freedom there. And I think he just got caught off there. He probably thought it was going to be like the Daytona tire barriers where you've got a little bit of movement to get around or the Le Mans barriers. No, there was no barriers there. He had nowhere to go.
And it's tough, you know, here in iRacing, how they police it is just automatically. And if you drive backwards on the racetrack, they say, no, you can't do that. We think you're doing something bad. And most likely you are if you're driving backwards. And unfortunately, this was not the case. He was just trying to rejoin. And he actually rejoined very safely. And oh my goodness, hang on to the car, Peter Konechny. He was also chasing down Alex Ott for what is the third place position, but he has his hands full. You were talking about that dirty air earlier. Combine the dirty air, slow speed corner, as well as all that horsepower underneath your right foot, it almost caught him out.
Yeah, that's why they call it a lead foot sometimes, Joey, and I think that just cost him a little bit of time. And unfortunately, all that work he's done, he's going to have to redo. By the way, Alex, nice little recovery, back up to third. So he's only a net -1 after the start of the race. So really putting in the work here at the moment. But this is Jason Clapper talking about people doing the work. Every time you see Jason Clapper on any sort of broadcast, Joey, you have to do a little bit of a sweepstakes with yourself and guess the positions he's going to gain in a race.
Well, he's taken another one right here from Cam Porter. It looks like, so move Jason Clapper up to 10th. He started in 21st. Oh, Cam Porter's trying to do a little bit of an over-under. See if he can try to battle Jason. Yes, what an effort here, but Jason is now on the left side of the track as we feed out onto the front straightaway. I think this is actually going to put Cam Porter under pressure from Christo Shinmai directly behind him as he goes to the inside in turn 1. You see the black number 19 slide up the inside. So unfortunately, when the door opened, Jason Clapper went through. He also brought Christo Shinmai. So Cam Porter has got a little bit of work to do here on the racetrack. And also, I just want to give a shout out. We were just watching on board with Peter Konechny, the series organizer over here. This is definitely one of my favorite series. You know, I never was really much involved in these vintage series until I started commentating, Craig. And between the 49s, the Camels, the 79s, I really appreciate the community that's been developed over here.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I got into straight away, and these classic communities, it's all fantastic. I remember even before getting in this commentary booth, just watching some of the 79s, it's always fun on a Sunday, and then getting able to take part in the Camel, take part in the 49, just the whole community, and the communities within communities within communities, because a lot of them all are racing the same sort of schedules and trying to do the Triple Crown on a weekend, and now with other historical series coming back, they're trying to do the Quadruple Crown of all 4 of those classic communities later on in a race weekend.
Look at Cam Porter, got the run. He's going to go side by side with Christo Shinmai. Christo just got a really poor exit out of that chicane section. Who is going to be deeper on the brakes? You see Christo really rocking the lower downforce setup, so the top speed going to that black number 19. And they both go way deep into the hairpin, a little bit of a lockup. You see Cam Porter realizing he's making the mistakes, got the smile on his face, but hey, didn't make any contact. You're gonna have to settle back into this position, figure out a new fight, a new way to attack Mr. Shinmai, because that one didn't quite work out. And Craig, here's that battle. Jason Clapper, you were saying, how many positions is he gonna gain? He's on the back of Ian Haycox right now. I'm going to guess. I'm looking at everything. I say he can go up there and catch Bjorn Ackerman and Sam Ryman. So I think Jason Clapper is going to move his way up to 7th this race.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a lot. There's 7 seconds gap here, but first of all, he's got to get past Ian as fast as he can, and if he gets a good run out of here 9 into Marc Marquez turn 10, he might be able to do it, and you know what, he does, but that launch from Ian is just helping him. Can there be a move here? It comes pretty quickly here. Nobody wants to do what Tim happened, and nope. Ian realized that the best thing is to let it go. Kurt is a man on a mission. He makes another position. That is now plus 12 for the day. He continues on. 6 seconds up the road is Bjorn Ackerman.
And crucially, we're only about a third of the way through the race. This is a battle for position a little bit further back, and we got some action going into the bus stop section. That's Arnold Cook kind of spinning it around here. No harm, no foul. Didn't look like any contact, just a simple 360. Got too deep on the brakes, and now some more extracurricular activities. I believe that's Barry West, Michael Taylor also involved in this battle, and I don't think it's over yet. Sometimes you use the kitty litter, sometimes you use the racetrack, but whatever it gets the pass done, hey, that's fair game.
I've always been told to use the tarmac, and I think we're going to see Arnold make a move right here. Is Coke going to do this? He's got the inside line, but he allows a hard turning in there for Barry West. It does open him up for turn 17. They're going to go side by side into turn 17. Really good move. And around the outside of 18, the final corner, that is Barry's position. That's what I was talking about at the start of the broadcast. Just make a mistake making that move at the hairpin. You're going to be losing out. If that was the final lap, Barry gets the position. You can just see Arnold. He was looking for another move there. All this does, though, it just invites Michael Taylor to come and have a go.
Well, and exactly as you're saying, Michael Taylor was able to scrunch right up on the back wing there of Arnold. But as we go through Sector 1, just as we've seen earlier, huge wiggle right there from the number 18 car, but it's the dirty air. And if you're running a lower downforce set, the car's not going to be happy through these twistier turns, so you just have to manage what the car's going to give you, manage that speed, and use it to the best of your ability. As this battle is far from over. Remember, Cam Porter tried to go up there and get past Christo Shinmai, didn't have the effort work out. He had that little lockup into the hairpin, but he's worked his way back to the rear bumper here. And not only that, but Christo Shinmai, it also looks like they've caught up with Ian Haycox just a little bit.
Yeah, let's just pay it. Ian Haycox did not have a good time last lap. We'll have to see what his lap times are this time. Cam's a bit too far behind. He won't be doing it this time, but that last time it was more of a... oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't meant to do it. Were you meant to do it? No, it wasn't meant to do it. It was more of a... You know, he's doing what? No, he's not doing. They both got themselves confused. Another bad hairpin there for Christo. This does open up another chance for Cam. It's still going to be a little bit too far back. But it's really interesting to see how that turn 17-18 final complex on the GT circuit. I've never been a huge fan of the GT finale, Joey. I like the moto layout. But that has really opened up the overtaking going into the first corner.
And watching that battle, it really was interesting, the lines that were being taken, because even though you can completely blow that final hairpin, as long as you can get the power down first, even if you're way offline, it provides you that huge launch through, Craig, that section you were talking about, 17, 18, and out onto the front straightaway. So very interesting. You can leave the door completely open. However, it provides you that monster top speed down the front straightaway, or you can close the door off from any defense behind and just kind of have a posture out there of not allowing anybody around, and somebody that doesn't have to worry about any of that, Craig. Our leader, Topi Kortuniaimi, he's up to, I'm checking, 12 seconds out in front. And remember, we are only on lap 11. He is putting 1 second per lap on the field.
Can we put some ballast in for Topi, please? Can we get a little bit more weight in his car or change his engine? I think, can we just get some BOP? He could be doing it. What a drive from Topi. Again, this isn't a track not many people are driving. Again, it's the new track sensation, and people are getting used to the track and still learning it. But it's such a great track, and you can see that he's just started to vibe with it. And he has his experiences before in this track, not only with this, as Kurt Jensen goes around. Again, Topi's had his experience with more than just the 79s around this track. Campbell, and I believe also the 49s have been here.
Yes, I believe all of the vintage series have come here before, and it just depends on which layout they're running. Now, I believe last season they did run the outer layout with no chicane, so you had that huge long straightaway. And if memory serves me correct, when we were doing the Lotus 49 race here, as we're riding on board with Cam Porter, they were doing 220 miles an hour at the end of that straightaway, Craig.
I've driven those cars at Monza combined. Those speeds scare me in those things. And it just goes to show these cars, they can go that speed with a little bit more downforce. Cam's got no downforce there. Look how wide he goes with that dirty air, making a small mistake, and that's the first real frustration on the face of Cam. He's been very stonewall this race. Now Peter Konietzki, he's had a little bit of a moment out there. He was in P4, he's gone down. We're going to see the GSRC replay, and let's just see what happened. This is going up the hill. Don't tell me he's made a mistake again. He's not done a Timothy Reed, has he? No, he's too hot.
Yeah, I think that could be a combination of a couple things, because I noticed, and he does such an excellent job on that rejoin, because he had another car coming at him, and he waited until he passed around, and that was Gernot Frische, so I'm sure Gernot was very happy to see somebody not pull right out directly in front of him on the racetrack. But I was going to say a couple of things going on there. Could have just simply gone too fast into the corner, and the rear comes out. I also noticed he was on the curbing going into that corner. Now, these cars, they do run tunnels on the other side. That's where the majority of the downforce comes from. If you have an uneven ground level when you're using those brakes, it could cause some problems. But here's Jason Clapper proving me wrong, straddling the curb going into one.
Hitting the curb, doing what he wants. He's going to try and make this move into two. Is he going to get this done? That's going to be a very good move to get that done, and he got it done on the Ackerman very easily. Joey, when you said to me he could get up to P7, I was like, okay, but that's 5 seconds. And he's got that so quickly. 2 seconds up the road, it's Stephen Nagle and Ryman. They're in their own little battle. He's just letting everybody fight it out. And he is like that lion waiting for the gazelle to finish his prey, because he's just waiting to pick up the scraps right now.
You know, and we always question, when is Jason Clapper going to qualify? And it looks like Cam Porter right here. We'll go back to Jason Clapper in a second, but this is the move that Cam Porter has been trying to get accomplished. Now he's down to the inside, but it's going to put him on the wrong side of the racetrack through this very tight downhill section. He's just got to get the nose tucked in behind Christo Shinmai here. Stay close, and now the door is going to open. Remember, Cam is running a little bit more downforce than this black car that he's coming up next to. He's not going to make the move going into this first section, but you see Christo using all of the racetrack. Cam Porter underneath the rear wing looking for any opportunity. Oh, huge wreck that was right in front of him. That was Ian Haycox.
Yeah, Ian Haycox has gone around as well. Just watch this. Is Cam Porter going to get the run here? This could be the best chance for him to get a run. He's going to just see that the top speeds are going to be going on right now, 250, 260 kilometers an hour. He is pushing and pushing, but that downforce difference, it allows Christo to just keep away. And Cam, almost like he's on a super speedway, is having to pull out to the side to cool the engine down. And that is just a sign of the difference in downforce packages, because Christo has really, really trimmed out that wing.
It's a great defense, and it's so interesting how the different layouts work and the different speeds and how it all works out in terms of a race and the pace that you have, not during qualifying, but during the actual race. This is what happened to Ian Haycox. You see him all the way back down to 21st position. Now, I saw him way off on driver's left here. Oh no, that looks like a complete hardware failure of some sort. The wheel just turned hard left on Ian. I don't know what happened here, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, the wheel went a hard left, and of course, then also he had a little bit of blinking. You just take there. He blinks, disappears. So that may also be probably a freeze on the computer or the hardware. But definitely right before that wheel took an extreme left. That is a telltale sign that somebody has had a hardware failure. That, unfortunately, is sim racing. It's such a shame to see. We've all seen those incidents one too many times.
Jason Clapper on the back of Thomas Silbernagel as Topi Kortiniemi puts in another fast lap. We're down to the 1 minute 45s in terms of those lap times, but Jason Clapper got the next target in the sight. Cue the Jaws music. He's already pulling out, got the teeth out. All he's got to do is go late on the brakes right here, and he will claim this 6th place position. Just make sure to get the car stopped, which he does. Defend the over-under. Excellent job of technical driving from Jason Clapper right here. Move him up into the 6th spot. Now, with 10 laps to go, he does have a 10-second gap to reach the top 5. I don't think he's going to get there.
Nope, I can't see it. Not with Peter, who's just put in, well, basically, Peter's just put in his fastest lap of 47.6, and Jason just did a 47.7 while making an overtake. So never say never, but I don't think the gaps are going to be there. And of course, Peter isn't really racing anybody at the moment because he's just making sure he holds on to that position. He could be looking at the F2 Championship. We're going to have to keep eyes on those points as Stephen Egel continues to push on. Ian Haycox did, in fact, Joey, confirmed we were right. It was a hardware failure.
And one battle, it's kind of fizzled out, but we haven't said their names all race long. It's the battle for 16th place. Byron Long and Francisco Javier Lopez. Now, they were just a little bit closer together as it looks like Shady Ahmad has a problem out there on the racetrack. These two are going to be coming up to him, but want to make sure we get everybody some screen time out here. And Byron in the 16th spot, but Francisco Javier Lopez right here up 9 positions, started way back there in 26th, moves his way up into 17th. So we'll have to see where Francisco ends up at the end of this one.
Yeah, and this is the nature as well. It's a single split race. All these drivers that don't usually get a chance to drive with the top drivers, they're in there together. They get to have that experience. They get to learn, get to drive with different types of people, and it just really helps them just improve their game. Cam Porter is a testament to that as well, with how he's been improving over the last half a year in all the series. He's continuing to push on for Cristo. It's going to be interesting. Can he hold on again? No, he can't. That downforce is playing a factor. And by the way, you did mention Shady Ahmad. He did have a moment. Clap another one, hitting the anti-cut curbs.
I gotta love this race for Cam because we get to see him race every single weekend, and a lot of times he's got a lonely race on his hands or he has some bad luck out there, and this time he gets to be the aggressor. He gets to go out there and race and hunt down a car in front of him. They have similar pace, so I gotta love it to see Cam Porter locked in a battle, not locked in a battle in his mirrors, but going out there and trying to get these positions. It seems like every single lap he is trying for something new, trying to get around Cristo Shinmai. And this is the area of the racetrack where I really feel like he's a little bit faster, but once we go through this very steep downhill left, Cristo Shinmai's car, it just seems to come alive with that lower downforce wing angle. And speaking of speed, Topi Kortanyami is all the way out front right now, 16 seconds out ahead of the entire field. He just put down another purple fastest lap, a 1:45.7. I think if anybody wants to hear what these Lotus 79 cars are like, we'll have to go jump on board with Topi the next time around. So if you all want to play racing car driver, oh, there's a problem with Cristo Shinmai. As soon as we cut the camera there, you saw it right as Cam Porter was coming out of that chicane. Sorry, we were getting so excited about showing some laps, and that was right when Cristo had his incident here, Craig.
Yep, with the replay here, he just loses it out here. Remember, he's got a little less downforce, and just one mistake there, tried to correct it a second time, and he realizes, yep, I might be a problem here trying to fight this. So he gives the space away to let Cam just get through cleanly, so none of those two are going to be held up. And that is some of the respect that you're getting. Cam finally gets his man. How long can he hold on for?
It'll be really, really interesting to see. Now, we talked about the Finnish dominance. Craig, do you think that dominating is 16 seconds in a matter of 16 laps?
I wouldn't call that dominating. I call that Max Verstappen-esque at the moment. I think that's the best way to describe it. It is pure dominance. Again, we've run out of superlatives for Topi Kortanyami today. He's just been driving on his own, and it just feels like he's just having fun out there.
Well, let's ride on board with our leader in the #1 car for a lap around Motorland Aragon and the Lotus 79. Well, you just rode on board for the fastest lap of the race so far. That was a 1:45.70 from Topi Kortuniemi as he continues to extend that lead. We are working lap number 17 here. About 5.5 laps left remaining. Topi is continuing to put on 1 second per lap, but the big change in the race here, Craig, this is the face of the F2 Points Championship lead.
Yeah, Peter just had a little bit of a moment, lost it coming out there into turn 14 and onto 15. He caught the gravel, got on the throttle, spun around. Jason Clapper goes by. There's Jason Clapper. You've got another yellow card there. Well, that's the man he's battling because that is Thomas Siemenagel now behind him. The gap may only be 3.5 seconds, but it's still very close. And then Cam Porter, does he do something similar? He comes in, he hits the anti-cut curve, chalk up another one with those anti-cut curves. Joey, they're so small. They're like the ones at Kota. You just don't see them.
Well, let me tell you, from personal experience, those ones at Kota, they are huge in person, and they will destroy your car. And unfortunately for Cam Porter, he's finding out the hard way. I call him what's a bread box curb, right? It's just like this piece of bread loaf that's out there, and if you hit it, trust me, it will knock you up in the air, especially with these cars. We've been talking about the downforce levels. They have the tunnels on the underside of the car. Well, if you go smashing over these concrete bits on the track, you smash the underside tunnels on the cars, and Craig, that can actually cause damage and take away lap time from you.
You called them bread boxes. Now I want some bread. I might just have to go and make myself a burger or something after this race. This is Dylan Freckerton and Alex Otto as they're in a battle. Dylan has had a really good weekend. He took home a camel victory yesterday. He's now pushing on to try and get a P2. I don't think he's going to get a P1 because Topi is Topi and doing Topi things. Alex, though, is trying to get that position back. It would be a great recovery for him if he could get those 2 positions he lost on the start of the race. Even if he does finish a net even, getting that P2 just feels a lot more satisfying than a P3.
Well, and if we draw back on qualifying, remember, Alex qualified second, and he actually qualified second by a handy margin over this car that's right in front of him. So, when we look at the raw pace, the raw speed of this race so far, Alex Ott has a lap time that is 0.4 seconds faster than Dylan Freckerton. I think it's only a matter of time until we see this car right here start to poke his nose and make the move for second place.
Going to use all that slipstream that he can as they come down into turn 12. Some people have made mistakes here today, avoids those curves, does not want to put up air, well, to get rid of the air that those intakes are getting. Now coming down into 14, he's now looking. He gets a really good run out of 15, and it's on. And does he? It's all right, but he had a little bit of a wiggle getting on the throttle there. So this is a lap that he's going to have to not go for that move. But the gap is closing with that slipstream. It's only a matter of time. Remember, we're on lap 19 with 5 to go. I think it's a matter of time. Give it a couple laps, and I think he'll get this over Dylan.
I saw about 4 miles an hour faster in that draft, and he hit that inside curve. Now, that is the slowest part on the racetrack. It's not necessarily going to cause any damage, but it definitely unsettles the car. When you want to put down the throttle, you just can't manage to do that as efficiently as you want to. But the other thing I'm noticing, dealing with a lapped car right in front of him, the pulls off to the side. Great job right there to see this lead battle coming through. Realize what it was, give way. That's the type of community that is built here in the Vintage Series.
Yep, everybody knows everybody, and they even try and persuade new people. So, oh, you lot racing at home, watching at home, not racing at home. You can race with them at home, though, by getting involved. And they always love to see new faces, and this is what it is all about. Shady Ahmad, he is in his own little battle at the moment as he's trying to get around Arnold Koch. Can he just hold on? Behind them, though, is going to be Topi Kortuniemi. But look at the sliding here. They do want to make this battle, but they also don't want to hold up Topi. I know that sounds crazy, Joey, when Topi's got a 20-second lead. You still don't want to hold up the leader.
No, but I think if you're Topi and you see this right in front of you, side by side, going into the final hairpin, and you've got a 20-second lead, I think you need to take a look in the mirror yourself, lift off the throttle and say, hey, I need to approach this safely in the best manner that I can, present my car clear and proper because I don't want to be taken out in a battle that they are so focused on. And that's kind of the mindset that you have to have as a leader. And here comes Topi. He's going to present the car. Driver's left. He clearly has it there. He's only going to take one car at a time, one here in turn one, and then he'll pick off the next here in the next few corners.
Yeah, he's just going to hold on, but Arnold has had a lot of shaking, a lot of sliding the last few corners, and again, another little bit of a slide there. Topi doesn't mind being held up here, but if that slide causes a spin, he is in survival mode, so he knows he wants to get by as fast as he can. Cam Porter has had a moment, though, as we see the leader coming on by. Shady's not going to make a move on that, but I did see Cam Porter going down the order, so something has happened there to the man in the red and white. Not sure what's happened.
Yeah, as we watch Arnold as Topi makes his way through, and you see up on the timing and scoring pylon 3 laps to go. It's actually about 2.5 laps since we've already started that lap, and this is Alex Ott still trying to argue, steal away the second place position from Dylan. And I think that this has been a pretty good storyline here, Craig, because Alex didn't have that great first lap. We documented it all the way back to about 5th place or so, and has had quite a quiet race, gaining those positions back. He hasn't done anything crazy out there on the racetrack, but here's an opportunity for him to kind of redeem his race.
Yeah, and we'll see as well. We haven't actually compared these guys, these racing and what they're doing with downforce. Let's just see. We've got these speed differences as we come down into these corners, and it's going to be interesting to see who has the better downforce or who has less downforce. Dylan getting up to that speed early, and they're matching now, and it does look like Dylan may have a little bit less downforce, because where is Alex going to make this? Now he gets it, but by the time he gets the overspeed, there's not enough time for him to make the move here. He's going to have to set up again. There's 2 laps to go, Joey. I don't think he's got the time now.
I saw about 3 miles an hour, maybe 4 miles an hour difference as he was tucked in that slipstream. And I'm going to agree with you, Craig. That tells me either an identical wing level or higher downforce level. So passing on the straight line going to be very, very difficult unless you can get all the way up alongside. And talking about passing, this is Byron Long trying to attack Michael Taylor directly in front of him. This is the battle for what is the 15th place position.
Yep, he is looking as well as he comes around some of these corners. He is not there at the moment. And again, the first section of this track, set yourself up for the race. Set yourself up for those straights. It does show in that Tyrrell-inspired livery he is going on. And Lance Simon, well, he's just having a nice, refreshing day. And I'm guessing he's going to have a bit more refreshments after the race. But this is one of those that you've got to enjoy it, Joey. Finish this race and just enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, well, and kind of paint the picture of Lance's race out here. He started back in 24th. He's up to 18th. I know we've had a few retirements, but he's up 6 positions, is 1 lap down, but he's kept it on the racetrack. So fantastic job from that number 21 car. And just got about another lap and a half left to go. Keep it on the island known as the concrete stuff, and he will be able to finish this race. And as I say that, the white flag is out for our leader, Topi Kortuniemi. Nothing is stopping this man today. It's just a regular old practice session.
Regular old practice session. Meanwhile, in the background, Dylan Freckerton had a mistake coming on to the long straight. A little twitch, and it did allow Alex to make the overspeed, but he had to go around the outside there. He could not make it this time by. He's going to have one last lap to find an answer, find a gap. I don't know if he's going to do it because Dylan has got all that long straight to work with on the final corners if he wants to make a defense. Alex is going to have to change up his game here and come out with something of a surprise.
I think that if he is running that higher downforce level, now is where you need to attack. And even if you can't attack, just show the nose, do something different. Make Dylan go off of his regular line, make him change. And that is the potential that you need to open the door. You see him go a little bit wide here, try to do the over-under. This is into one of the most technical sections of the racetrack. Alex knows there's not really an opportunity there. It's all coming out of this hairpin.
Yeah, he may look for hit down here, down Marc Marquez. He may go to look for a late lunge here, but the speed you've got to carry and the angle you've got to carry going into 12, it may stop him. A little bit of a wiggle there, though, for Alex. I think that was more of a control wiggle than trying to give a message. He's got to try a different line. Look how wide. There's going to be a lap car going by them. Meanwhile, Toby Coulthard, he's just got a couple corners left. You're not going to miss anything with this battle, though, as they come down the straight.
Yeah, Topi Courtney is rounding the hairpin here as Alex Ott. We got to jump to our leader because the number 1 is about to cross the start-finish line. Pole position, fastest lap, led every lap, domination, Topi Courtney.
Coulthard makes that move fantastic in that other battle with again. Alex is going to have to go around the outside. Going to be tough, and he loses the rear. He went for everything there, and he just could not get it. Great defense from Dylan. Great attacking from Alex. A fantastic battle in the last half of that race, and Dylan is going to get the P2. Alex will have to console with a P3, but I don't think he's too worried. He's just had a very, very aggressive and fun race.
I think the most lonely race of all is this driver right here, Gurna Frisha, going to be coming home in the 4th place position, but didn't really get to race too many folks out there today. Going to watch the rest of these battles as they stream across, and check this out, up to 5th, Craig.
Great there for Jason Clapper. I don't know who won the bet there. Peter Kozinski, though, is going to cross the line, and he gets that 5th position. But remember, he was leading the championship by 3 points to this man, Thomas Siebernagel, who just holds off there, Daniel Ryman, at the end of the race. I reckon that might be it for Peter. We'll have to check out the drop weeks and everything. That might be the F2 championship for Peter.
As we watch Christo come by, just to talk about that F2 championship, remember, it was Peter Konechny, Thomas Silbernagel, Shady Ahmad, Bjorn Ackerman, Sam Ryman, right? That was your top 5. And if I look through these results, it says Peter Konechny on top. So he should claim that championship. Silbernagel right behind him. I also see Bjorn Ackerman right there. Sam Ryman was included into it. So, I mean, you talk about a driver's championship coming down to the 12th race of the season. This is exactly what they were all racing for, why everybody showed up here to the finale of this Lotus 79 season. We're going to see if Topi Courtney is going to burn it down here on the front straightaway. He parks it, see if he finds a gear. Let's listen, smell, and hear some sweet donuts, and we'll be right back with your official results and post-race interviews.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, I was wondering if we were going to see something other than a finish flag on the top step, and they say no, absolutely not. It is going to be finish dominance all 12 weeks of the season. Topi Courtney, today's winner. Dylan Freckleton, great defensive effort, especially in the last few laps of the race. Alex Ott will stand on the podium after trying in the last final hairpin there. Gernot Friesche, 4th place. Jason Clapper, tremendous race, up 16 positions to finish in 5th. I predicted that he was going to be about 6th or 7th, so he went far higher than what I thought. Peter Konechny in 6th. Thomas Silbernagel, 7th. Sam Ryman, 8th. Christo Shinmai, 9th. And Bjorn Ackerman round out the top 10.
We get to the second page. Cam Porter will be the last man on the lead lap in 11th, and Shady Ahmad will finish in 12th. Arnold Koch had a very nice 13th there, and Brian Long will take 14th, and then Michael Taylor will be 15th, and Barry West, unfortunately, going down 7 positions there into 16th position, with Francisco Javier Lopez making 9 up from the back of the field to get that 17th. Lance Simon will take 18th, and Robert Simpkins 19th. Ian Haycock 2 laps down. He did come back out after that hardware failure, Joey.
Did come back out, and he did take the checkered flag. Unfortunately, for all of the names you see here on the screen, they did not finish the race. Multiple laps down. DNFs, as we call it. Well, we do have a couple of interviews. We're going to bring in our race winner, Topi Kortuniemi. Congratulations on just a completely dominating day.
Yeah, thanks, Joey.
Well, what was it like? Was it just like going out there and turning laps, or were you focused on something in particular?
Yeah, I noticed that none of the other Finns joined. I was looking forward for a good battle, so shame on them for not joining. And I was just trying to focus on my driving technique and doing a fast lap and getting past the traffic safely, yeah.
You mean you didn't get the invite for the early vacation ticket?
Yeah, no. I think I wanted to race on this track because it's so fun to hot lap. So I was looking forward to have a good battle. There's a lot of places. There's the hairpin, the braking, the fast stuff. I was looking forward for 2 whites around the track.
So there's a couple different configurations about Aragon. Is there one that you like in particular?
I don't know. I've just done this configuration. I saw that last time it was without the SS section, so it was a long back straight and no hairpin. It was a fast left-hander in the back right. Yeah, I think that could be fun. I haven't raced that yet.
I can tell you that monster back straightaway with no chicane gets some crazy top speeds at the end of it. Almost like in the flight sim, pegging that thing all the way up there. But before I let you go, you had a great championship effort. I know it wasn't you that was standing on top, but this is the final week of the season. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to, say hi to?
To the 79 community, and shout out to everybody. Please donate to the broadcast fund for the next season. Peter Konechny has the details in 79 Discord and in the iRacing forums, and every dollar helps. And thanks, of course, you guys for excellent coverage this season. It's always fun to watch these races afterwards.
Well, they are only great because drivers like you guys are the ones that make the action out there. So, Topi, thank you for coming out and racing.
Thanks, Joey.
Well, that was Topi Kortuniemi, your race winner today here at Motorland Aragon. I believe that Craig King has caught up with Dylan Freckleton.
Yep, down here in the digital paddock with Dylan Freckleton. Yesterday, Dylan, we were seeing you claiming a victory in the Camel. Today, we're seeing you back on the podium. It looked like at the end there it was going to be a very interesting fight, and you just had to hold off Alex at the final laps there.
Yeah, that was good fun. I was expecting it pretty much for the whole race. I knew he was going to catch me. But yeah, it was good fun. It was all about that last hairpin. Breaking into there, I think he was a little bit stronger, so I just tried to make sure I was sort of on the inside and just hold it down there. But it got very close, but that was good fun.
Now, one of the things we did see up and down the field was a different setup there of downforce. Some drivers trimming some of the downforce to get more top speed. It did look like you had probably a little bit less downforce or level downforce with Alex there. Was that the case? Did you find it a little bit better with that much with that less or that much downforce?
I think I had a little bit less. You could see he was able to get alongside me down the straight, but he wasn't able to get sort of past and get an overlap. There were a couple of times even where I sort of messed up my exit onto that back straight. He still wasn't able to sort of get past. If he'd been able to get past and get the overlap, there wouldn't have been anything I could have done. I think he had more downforce. He was following me quite close through the rest of the lap. But yeah, I think the lower downforce, it's a real compromise with this layout. When we were here last season, it was the outer layout with the really long straight, and you just had to take all the wing out, otherwise you'd have been nowhere. I didn't take too much wing out last time, and I ended up with people just coming past me down the straight the whole race through. But yeah, so this time it's a compromise, but I like those sort of tracks where you have to make that decision, and it makes for interesting racing, I think.
It really like singles out the men from the boys in that old school saying there when you have to have tracks like that, and it's been a fantastic way to see it. This is one of the tracks that I think has started to gain a lot of popularity on the sim. Now the season, unfortunately, is over. It's over technically for the year, as we will start the 2024 season in a couple weeks. You get a 6th in the championship. I know this is a Finnish dominated season, a championship. But are you looking forward to next season? Of course, now with the stories coming out, with new damage model coming in as well, that's going to really change up the way some of these people drive the cars next season. Am I right?
It probably will. Obviously, you never want to get any damage, whatever happens. But yeah, I think the new damage model on the cars I've driven it is, particularly in these sort of open wheel cars, it's a very sensitive, like you can have a tiny touch and you'll lose your front wing. And in that case, your race is going to be done. Whereas with this damage model, you can get away with a bit of contact. If your front wing's a bit bent, you lose, half a second a lap, you can keep going. With the new damage model, it might be a bit more sort of, if you have a crash, you're done. So it will probably come into sort of people's thinking a little bit. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It'll be fun anyway. It'll look spectacular when people do crash inevitably.
Yeah, we don't want to see people crashing. We want to see everybody with 4 tyres on the ground. And we look forward to seeing you next season, Dylan, and of course elsewhere as well. So that is P2 in today's race, Joey. That's Dylan Freckleton. And I believe you might be down the rest of the paddock. I see you might be next to Alex Ott.
Yes, I've got Alex Ott with me. Congratulations on the podium, the 3rd place finish.
Yeah, thank you guys. That was sure an interesting one. First I had a good battle with Peter, good side-to-side action, and then I tried to close the gap to Dylan. I didn't think I would make that, but he came closer and closer, and in the end we got a really, really good battle.
I think that you were one of the bigger stories of the race in kind of that comeback drive and ultimately battling with Dylan for that 2nd spot at the end. But what went wrong on the first lap for you?
Well, I'm not very good at this car with the cold tires. It scares me. The last broadcast race I did, maybe you remember, I spun with the start. So yeah, I just took it really, really cautious and easy, and get the tires up to temp and get in the rhythm.
But hey, as long as you are aware of your strengths and weaknesses, that means you approach the race the right way. And then to try to get around Dylan, he said that he was running probably a little bit less downforce than you. Is that what was the struggle in trying to get that pass done?
Yeah, I think I was a bit faster in the corners, but on the straights, it was really difficult to catch him. So I needed to be really, really close to have an opportunity to pass him. And that opportunity came 2 times, but 2 times he won.
Well, Alex, you got to be proud of the podium finish here today. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'm very proud of this race. I want to thank the Lotus 79 community for being awesome. Also the Camel GT community. I just want to say next week, week 13, I'm organizing a 3-way multi-class race for Lotus 79 and Camel GT on Mugello. So anyone watching, please join that. It's in the Discord, the information. So hope to see you on track next week.
Well, that was Alex Ott, driver of the number 3, conveniently coming home in 3rd place today. And we do have one final interview to happen real fast here. Cam Porter, you had a great race today. It seemed like you were in attack mode the whole time.
It was a really fun race. Yeah, unfortunately, I got caught up in an incident right at the beginning where Robert Simpkins lost control in front of me, and I couldn't avoid hitting him, and that did damage to my car. So I was fighting damage the entire time. My steering was kind of off, and I don't know if I had aero damage, but I was fighting with Christo, and he seemed to be able to go a little faster on the straights. Maybe he was just running a lower setup. But yeah, that was a really fun race. And then later on, I hit one of those anti-cut curbs, went off track, and that allowed Christo to get by. And then later on, near the end, I just lost the back end of the car in the fast left-hander going onto the back straight. So I don't know, torpedoed my own race a little, but also got some damage from that incident at the beginning. So could have been better, but could have been worse.
I thought you had a terrific race. I thought it was at least action-packed for you the whole time. And this is the final race of the season. You're one of our regulars. You're one of my favorite characters to show up every single week. Are you going to be around next season? And I just want to say thank you for coming and racing.
Well, thank you, Joey. I really appreciate the kind words. Yes, absolutely. I'm coming back next season. Hopefully concentrate on being more consistent, keeping the car pointed straight, and hopefully avoid incidents also.
Well, that was Cam Porter coming home a little bit further down in 11th today, but a fantastic race and a great championship effort. And that's going to do it today for this entire season. Thanks to the team, Craig, Ryan, and Dougie. Can't forget about Joe Peak as well. Make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Be sure to check out all of the other broadcasts listed here. And up next on the channel is the Rolling Thunder race at Bristol, 8:15 p.m. Eastern today. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.